You've got it tuned to listener-powered KEXP 90.3 FM, Seattle, worldwide, KEXP.org. I'm Kevin Cole down in the performance space. You just heard music from Radiohead, Everything in Its Right Place, the name of the track, and that is indeed the situation down here in the live room as I am with Joe and Gus from Alt J. It is so great having you here.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Yeah, excited to have you here, excited for the show tonight at WAMU Theater, excited to chat about the new album, The Dream, but how about we hear a set first?
That sounds great.
That's a great idea.
We're going to start with a song called You and
Me.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Summer holiday, having fun. Happiness is between two buns. Fabulous. Help me.
Rolling Boil.
Oh yeah. Smiles bend all over, can't control how I feel. It's just you and me now. Round off kimonos for my girls in the sun. Sending videos to friends in London. Oh, 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 oh. Strut last night at Skarsgård, to and from the bar. Playing my candy tangerine Telecaster. It's just you and me now. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Just you and me now. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Just you and me now. Ooh, ooh. Yeah, 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 yeah. It's just you and me now. Hot palms pressing down on my face. Drab out my sockets to a better place. Flashing in the dark, my luminescent tongue. Summer holiday, having fun. Ooh, ooh, ooh. It's just you and me now. I could hold on to the memory of the day for the rest of my life. I could hold on to the memory of the day for the rest of my life. I could hold on to the memory of the day for the rest of my life. I could hold on to the memory of the day for the rest of my life.
Nice. Next up, we're going to play another song from our new album, The Dream. And it's a song which we wrote during the recording sessions for that album about a young boy who becomes a millionaire from trading crypto. And it's called Hard Drive
Gold.
1, 2, 1, 2.
Give me that gold. Straight into my hard drive. Give me that gold. Straight into my hard drive, baby. Yeah, 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 yeah. I'm 15 in my garden skipping. My neighbor Sue is watching me from her window. Oh, mama, did you tell Sue I'm a millionaire? Now, baby, trade in that crypto.
3, 4.
Give me that gold. Give me that. Give me that gold. Give me that fire. Hot. Crying on a stranger is so very soothing. I'm outside my teacher took me to one side and told me I was
Scum.
I left then Googled neoliberal. Don't be afraid to make money, boy. Don't be afraid to make money, boy. Don't be afraid to make money, boy. Don't be afraid to make money. Straight into my hard drive. Give me that gold. Straight into my hard drive, baby. Yeah, 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 yeah. Don shot a ruler, put it on the table and go brrr. Watch it shatter. Clearly mom starts to kneel with the Audi. The next morning he shouts from his door. Don't be afraid to make money, boy. Don't be afraid to make money, boy. Don't be afraid to make money, boy. Don't be afraid to make money. Don't be afraid to make money, boy. Don't be afraid to make money, boy. Don't be afraid to make money, boy. Don't be afraid to make money. Straight into my hard drive. Give me that gold. Straight into my hard drive, baby. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Lovely stuff. Well, should we do one more song from the new album, Joe? What do you reckon?
I think that's a good idea, yeah.
What do you fancy playing?
Let's do Chicago.
Nice idea. This one's just the piano, isn't it? And the vocals, of course. Here we go. 1, 2. That's our key, by the way. 3, 4.
More together than alone. From the hill we saw it rain on the town over. Torch to your chin lights your cheekbones. In a moment I saw a likeness to our father. In American nights on that hill in the night. Oh, back to the night before, where the TV lit our brilliant smiling faces. Torch hits your face before the fall. Panic in the eyes similar to breaking horses. In American nights on that hill in the night. Apparition lifts me up. From its shoulders I sit and see your face above the tree line. Your reassurances subtitled in American English. I am calm as we sail down the hillside. In American nights on that hill in the night.
And what shall we do now? I think an old song would be nice.
An oldie but a goldie.
Indeed, indeed. So we're going to play something from our first album, An Awesome Wave, which is 10 years old this year. Cue much applause. We're going to play you a song called Tessellate. Take it away.
bite chunks out of me. You're a shark and I'm swimming. My heart still thumps as I bleed. And all your friends come sniffing. Triangles are my favorite shape. 3 points where 2 lines meet. Toe to toe, back to back, let's go. My love, it's very late. Till morning comes. Let's tessellate. Go alone, my flower. Keep alone, my love. I'll breathe stones alone, my lover. Keep alone, my heart. 3 guns, 1 goes off. One's empty, one's not quick enough. 1 burn, 1 red, 1 grin. Search your graves while the camera spins. Chunks of you will sink down to seals. Blubber rich in morning. Will nurse you up, yes, will nurse your love away. But it's fair to say, you will still haunt me. Triangles are my favorite shape. 3 points where 2 lines meet. Toe to toe, back to back, let's go. My love, it's very late. Till morning comes. Let's tessellate.
It's Joe and Gus from Alt J live on KEXP. Thank you so much.
Thanks, that was fun.
Thank you.
Yeah, ending with Tessellate, and right before that, 3 songs from the new album, The Dream, Chicago, Hard Drive, Gold, and U&Me. And watching you play, I kind of imagine that this is what it's like for you when you're maybe in the studio.
It's not a million miles away from kind of like the writing sessions we do, I guess. Yeah,
We're pretty
it's,
stripped down, aren't we?
Stripped down. We're sat down as
Sat
well.
down.
Yeah.
Yeah, often. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, just jamming, working on the ideas, being sort of casual,
yeah.
which I love. So thank you for taking that approach today. It's a real treat for listeners
Thank
and
you.
viewers.
Great.
So I heard that, I mean, there was a 5-year break between the last studio album and The Dream, and I believe the year before starting recording 2019, you guys kind of took a little bit of a break from the business of the band, still hung out as friends and stuff. But I heard that time described as sort of a creative rebirth.
Yeah, I think we were quite depleted after touring 3 albums back to back. I think we'd probably, particularly on tour and stuff, I think we were feeling quite kind of a bit jaded and a bit like, not really enjoying the gigs as much anymore, maybe, and just feeling like we needed a break from just from the intensity of kind of like this album tour kind of hamster wheel we were on. And so it was a good time to have a rest, wasn't it? 2019.
Yeah.
We came back feeling good in 2020.
I think we always knew we wanted to carry on
Yeah.
making music together. I just think, you do need time away from your instrument, and you do need time away from you're forced to define your relationship with a friend as like a music partner, as a business partner. And sometimes you want to take back maybe a greater ratio of just being friends as opposed to, bandmates.
Yeah.
So I think that was key.
Yeah, you were friends before you started the band, so would you say friendship is still the core of what keeps the band together, the bond that you have?
I think so, yeah, for sure. I mean, it's not easy, being on tour with the same people for 10 years. I mean, the fact that we're all still mates, and it's, you know, it's a good thing. It's a good sign. I think, you know, we did spend that first year of knowing each other at university before we started the band, kind of, I think, you know, unconsciously sounding each other out as future bandmates and future business partners, perhaps.
Yeah, it's great to recognize too the need and the opportunity to just take a break, right? As much as you love creating and making music and touring and playing for people, it is a grind.
It's good for the process. The you know, the bigger picture is, you know, you want to be safe and you want to create a quality of work that your fans are kind of sort of like, after listening, they understand why they've waited. And I think you do need time out from that process to get there.
Yeah, when you started this new record, was there any kind of manifesto in advance? Do you start with some sort of intention that you, as friends and as a band, acknowledge, or do you just start working on songs?
Not kind of musically so much, but I think we knew that this time we wanted to do a kind of thing where we would write a few songs, then record them, then write and record, and not do a kind of like, okay, we write all the songs and then we do a big long months and months of like recording, you know, because I think in the past that's led to quite a lot of studio fatigue, a kind of stir craziness sets in, and it was really nice this time to kind of do 3 weeks writing and then call our producer in. We wrote and recorded it all in the same studio. We had our own studio for the first time on this album, and it was really nice to be able to kind of go, okay, Charlie, like, we've got some more songs, do you want to come in and do a couple of weeks recording? And then we'd do that, and then he'd go away and we'd do more writing. And I think that kept things kind of fresh and kept us young.
Yeah. You started right about the time the pandemic hit, though.
Yeah.
Did that create any challenges? And, you know, given that we're all kind of in lockdown during that period of time, did you have to use any sort of tools to sort of break away and get out of that space so you could maintain that fresh perspective?
I think it was like, you know, when you start writing an album, there's nothing more important than that process, that writing process. I think what the pandemic, you realize very quickly was, you know, life is more important than writing an album. And I think, you know, we lost control of, you know, normal decisions that we would make and take in our daily lives. But in a, you know, eventually I think we saw it as a bit of a blessing. You know, we were fortunate enough not to experience the horrors that some families have had in the last 2 years. I think we allowed ourselves to do what we would do normally, but within the guidelines of like lockdown. Mm-hmm. And it was actually really good. I got to write normally, but there was no expectations from anyone.
Now, your writing has changed a little bit over time, and there's less sort of external direct influences on some of the songs, perhaps, and more sort of writing from personal experience. Was that hard to get comfortable with being more kind of personally exposed?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think there is still a divide between the writer and their writing. You know, you do find that there are some writers that are truly confessional. Mm-hmm. I don't think I'm one of those writers yet. You know, there's a lot of things that I wouldn't want people knowing, you know, just because it's like, as we all have our, you know, secrets in a sense. But, you know, I think it was more of a kind of a melding of, you know, ideas from other people and thoughts of my own, and actually blurring those lines between, like, within like a fictitious world that you were writing.
Yeah, the song, I think, Get Better, just seems so deeply personal. And Gus, I know you told NME that Get Better is so terrifically sad that it should come with a disclaimer.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Which is a great way to describe it, because it's such an incredibly powerful song. Mm. The first time I played it, I hadn't had a chance to review it. I just got it in. I was like, okay, I'm going to play this new Alt J. And man, it choked me up. Everybody in the booth was crying. Ever since playing, every time I play it now, I do actually set it up with a disclaimer.
Yeah.
Just saying, hey, you should have some tissues nearby for this.
Thank you.
It's beautiful. It's incredible. And it's really rare to hit that kind of emotional tone that feels so personal and something we can relate to. And maybe that had something to do with this collective experience we've all been having with the pandemic. But Joe, how did you key into those intense emotions for that song?
Well, I mean, the chorus originally was a song that I sang to my girlfriend. She was having period pains, and I was just sort of like entertaining her. And what I was singing, it's actually quite rare to write something that in the moment is something that's worth keeping. But it's even rarer for that to be recorded, because it's just those, you're capturing a moment that you probably wouldn't be able to repeat unless you were recording it. And my partner was enjoying it, the song. I was serenading her and she recorded it. And several weeks later, she was like, "This is really nice." And I was like, "No, it is really nice." And I'd always planned to do something with it, but there was never really a right moment to fit it into another idea that I had. And then we were in the middle of the pandemic, and I had a kind of a chord structure for a verse that was just, I had been collecting a lot of ideas on, what it would be like to lose someone, how it would engulf you, and how you probably wouldn't ever recover, but you just find ways of living. And I sort of read, I sort of over time I've been reading books on not books on grief, but sort of fiction, sort of focusing on loss. And it formed my own idea of what I imagined, or how hard I imagined it would be. And then we were in the pandemic, and I was watching the 6 o'clock news, and it was this daily, it was just pulling you apart, because there were so many families that were losing loved ones every day, and the graph was just going up. And it just I don't know, it was the time. No, it wasn't like, oh, I'm going to write something. It was just, it happened organically. And then I connected the song that I wrote to my partner, and then these ideas on grief that I was writing. And I was like, this is a big song, it's a long song. And I don't know. It made me cry, so I played it to you, and when you started crying, I was just like,
You knew you were onto something powerful.
Yeah.
Dangerous.
Yeah.
Dangerous. Yeah, it's in the wrong hands.
Well, thank you for that, because it was a very beautiful, cathartic release.
Oh, you're welcome. That means a lot.
And kind of looping the recording that almost sounds like a voice message or something is just such a nice touch.
Yeah, that was my wife actually. That was we were in the process of mixing the song, and Joe asked me to go and ask my wife April to record herself saying "Get Better" into my phone, and she did it the first time, and she kind of giggled as she did it a bit nervously, and I was like, "Oh, that was you laughed. Come on, do it again." And I made her do it 20 times, but actually, that first one where she kind of laughs nervously has the most kind of emotional honesty to it, I think, because it sounds like you're sort of making a message for somebody who's in hospital or something, and say a message for John, say "Get Better," and you're like, "Gonna get better." And it was really, it was like sometimes the first performance just is the best, because they're not thinking about it,
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. How often does that happen where the first is the best? Think of how many times you've taken a photo, right?
Yeah.
And you don't think you get it right, so you take 50, and then it's like, the first one's the best one.
Yeah,
hands
absolutely.
down.
Yeah. The first one is the document that tells you that was the reason why I wanted to take it. It's kind of like, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh, totally. Then the others are trying to recreate that.
Yeah.
So Joe Gus here from Alt J, playing at WAMU Theater tonight, playing in Vancouver tomorrow, then heading down the West Coast and back across America. It is great having you here. You mentioned it, Gus, an awesome wave celebrating its 10-year anniversary. I think it was May 10th or something when it came out.
Yeah.
So you acknowledge that. So have you been thinking about it, and are you going to honor that in any way?
We are. I think we're gonna create a kind of special. It's either going to be a standalone long podcast or a podcast series. But I think we're going to go back to Leeds and do some kind of interviews with people who we worked with in the early days, and kind of walk around, try and go to the house where we did our first show and wrote loads of songs that were on the album. Just kind of talk to lots of people and try and make a kind of interesting package of reminiscences for people. I think it'll be fun. Try and get Gwyl, our former member, involved in some way. I think it'll be nice to have a kind of a sort of lasting document of that. And we may also be doing some shows in London, doing sort of playing the album in full. I think that's not confirmed yet, but hey, I just talked about it on live radio, so I guess we better do it.
Yeah, very cool. I love that you're doing that. All your records are amazing. That record, when it hit, there was nothing like it.
Thanks.
I know you've got some massive shows in London this summer. So these ones that we're confirming right now for the first time, are those going to be small, intimate?
No, I think they're going to be massive, hopefully. We'll see what happens. But, I think it's funny, I think none of us had really thought too much about this 10-year thing. And we've been asked about it a lot. And I think the more we've been asked about it, the more we've realised how important that album is to people and actually how important that album is to us, too. It did amazing things for us. And we're extremely fond of that album. And, I think it would be a shame to let this 10-year anniversary pass by without doing some cool things. So,
I'm sure you're going to be working songs into your sets.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. We always play like the lion's share of the songs off the album anyway, because every single one's an absolute banger.
It's true.
I think also we have a lot to thank for you guys, KEXP, because we did the whole album, didn't we? We played it live.
Pretty much, yeah.
And
supporters.
it's got such high views, and a lot of people come up to us and they're like, "We know about you because of that KEXP performance you did."
Not just American people.
And it's not just American people. No, it's and so it's nice. It's like I remember that day turning up. I didn't know your radio station. I was hungover, and I was like, "We have to do all of the songs on the album, and we have to do the full set." And I couldn't believe it. And I was like, "But then we did it. It went well, and then the reaction was amazing. And actually, it's probably thanks to that, it's been like a big part of like boosting our kind of notoriety maybe in the US. So we have a lot to thank KEXP for.
Indeed.
Thank you. We love hearing that. That is our mission, from the artist's perspective. So I appreciate you saying that, Joe. Joe and Gus from Alt J, live here on KEXP. Thank you so much for stopping by. Really appreciate it. Have fun tonight. Have fun on the rest of the tour.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
It's been lovely. Thanks for having us, and thanks to everyone at home for listening.
Yeah, thank you so much. And huge thanks to the crew here, Jim, Scott, Carlos, Kevin, Rachel, Matt, Eric, Mina, Stacy, Nancy, and everybody who donates to KEXP, making these sessions possible. It's listener-powered, KEXP. Discover new music at kexp.org.